Hey, so we've seen in the past how you can use Ask Steve on any web page or any subset of the web page to actually process that and send that data to an LLM right in line and get information right where you are without having to go to an LLM. So for example, I just ran the extract people information from a web page skill on this selection, and it made me a table with Sam and job title and company and a constructed link to the LinkedIn profile that wasn't there before. The LLM created that. But, and now I can copy this and paste it into Sheets and be all good. But what if I wanted to go into Sheets directly, or I wanted to go into Salesforce or things like that? Well, Ask Steve can't do that on its own, but if you connect it to an external system, it can. So let me show you how. I can say Ask Steve to add to my lead tracker, and boom, it just added those 3 people to my lead tracking sheet. And I click this link here and I can see that they've been added to my lead tracking sheet. Let me go back and I'll add some other people here. Let me add these 3 and do the same thing. And then if we come over here, we'll see that in a moment, those people will be added to my sheet as well. There we go. So how did I do this? So now I'm able to interact with other applications. Well, I did that by connecting Ask Steve to a service called N8N, which is kind of a low-code, no-code, flow-based application builder. So here you can see the flow that I built. It takes a webhook, so that's the call from Ask Steve, comes into there, hits the webhook, and then we extract the prompt. We extract each one of those people and get the data for each person. We construct the confirmation message that says like, hey, added these people, here's a link to the sheet. And then we actually add to the lead tracking sheet, this Sheets node here. And if you go look here, we can go see like all different kinds of applications that N8N integrates with. And you can imagine all the different things then that you can integrate Ask Steve with. Like we take as an example, we go look at Salesforce, and we go look at some of the actions you can take on Salesforce. All these account actions, attachment, case, contact, custom objects, documents. So like you could take some data via Ask Steve, augment it with data from Salesforce, then send it to the LLM, get it back, store some of that data back into Salesforce if you wanted to, and then send it back to the user. You could do any kind of thing like that with any of these different applications that N8N provides. And now N8N isn't the only service provider like this. Gumloop is another one. There's Zapier, there's Make, there's several. But these basically give you the ability to extend Ask Steve to do not just a single LLM call, but basically anything you want, because all these guys also have nodes that integrate with AI, OpenAI, or any other service that you want to. And the way you do that is via 2 new features that I've just added. One is when you define a model. Here, let's go to this lead tracking flow one. There's a new checkbox here that says this is not an LLM. So check that if you're just calling an API. And what that does is it removes all the extra like instructions that we give to the LLM about what to do and how to format the response. And then the second thing is if we go look at our skills, here, I'll go look at the N8N skill I created. You can see all it's doing is passing the data that was highlighted from the page or the page itself. And then I'm using a specific model for the skill. This is a new option that you can enable in the settings. Most of the time it's hidden because it's just adding more stuff to the UI and most people won't use it. But if you do, then you can pick an override. So normally all your skills will just say, use the current model, whatever that is. But you can say, no, I want to use this specific model for this specific skill. So I'm able to use all my other skills normally, but this particular one, add to lead tracker, sends it directly to this model, which is here, and which connects to my Ask Steve webhook for in N8N. So anyway, very cool. You can now connect Ask Steve to any one of these services and do kind of anything that your mind can think of, anything that you can imagine that these things support, which is integration with all these different apps, all sorts of kind of flow control, processing, things like that, is now enabled, all via the Ask Steve UI. So via the right-click menu, via the chat, and then also via the quick action box. All right, thanks.